Hello, everybody. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me today, giving me a small slice of your day. You know that I appreciate you. You know, we now have our candidates more officially, I guess, now that Obama is backing Hillary. And Trump versus Clinton. This is about to be epic. At first, I was a little down on it because it turns into the thing that all elections turn into, all these election races turn into, where it's just a war of words and no substance. But because it is Hillary Clinton and because it is Donald Trump, it will be even more words and even less substance, which seems dire at first, but actually has the potential to be truly hilarious. Truly hilarious. Like right before I got on, someone sent a tweet about Hillary and how Obama was endorsing her and how he wants 4 more years of Obama. And they didn't want that, and America doesn't want that. And, just disparaging Hillary. To which Hillary replied, delete your account. Which so far as her trying to keep this clean public relations image, it's not helping. She just said delete your account, which, ooh, burn. And then Donald Trump, because he is Donald Trump and because he has mastered, probably more so than anyone on earth, more words and less substance, when questioned Hillary's her what I got. It's not a hot take really, but just how long it took her staff of 823 people to come up with that particular tweet, followed by the question of most importance: what happened to the 33,000 emails that she deleted? I did laugh out loud at that one. This is about to be the war to end all presidential election wars, and the most important thing about this is that it's taking place on social media. So if you need any advice, your Twitter must-follows are Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I shouldn't have to tell you this right now, but in case I have to tell you, it's going to be amazing. But we also have another Twitter issue to talk about, and we'll jump into that. It involves the NFL and Roger Goodell. I'm sure you've heard by now. Roger Goodell presumed dead, and then he wasn't, because he wasn't actually dead. Before we jump into that, though, let me tell you about the platforms. Where can you reach us? Where can we reach you? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the places I most highly recommend. And if you can give us a follow in the TuneIn Radio app as well, we would appreciate that. Simply search Hot News Talk Radio in the TuneIn Radio app, free for whatever app store you like to use. Give us a favorite and press play. You'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. You can also check us out at hotnewstalkradio.com. You can also get links to the social media sites from there. So somebody hacked the NFL's Twitter account, and by so doing, the NFL, this person basically reported the death of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. And I had a few thoughts when I first heard that story, which was, in a year where we have lost a lot of people of celebrity status who were beloved, how many people would really have missed Roger Goodell? And I don't mean that in terms of Roger Goodell's significance in comparison to those people, because he is the commissioner of the NFL. And so while maybe everyone hasn't heard of Roger Goodell, people have heard of Roger Goodell, and certainly he has importance to you if you are a fan of football or an American in which football drives the economy, a good chunk of the economy in this country, whether you like it or not. And whether you know who Roger Goodell is or not, if you like football, he impacts your life anyway. But my thought was, how many people would really have missed Roger Goodell? He's one of the easiest people on earth to hate. And it's not a hypothetical hatred. It is an actual hatred that people dish out towards Roger Goodell. So NFL's Twitter account is hacked. Roger Goodell is, the tweet says that Roger Goodell, NFL commissioner, has passed away. And my first thought was, this is a man that every year we do the NFL draft, he gets booed. It's like the commissioner of the NFL is the easiest person to hate. I remember when we used to like this guy, that his approach to making the NFL look good, his approach to discipline, all of those things, we liked that. And then he took the discipline too far. There is no third party to arbitrate the punishments that he deals out. He deals out very harsh punishments. Sometimes they don't make sense, like we're trying to suspend Tom Brady for 4 games for deflating a ball. Erstwhile, a person who can be caught in a domestic violence situation, be caught in a rape situation, they're being suspended for 8 games. So if what you're telling me is rape is somehow only 2 times as worse as cheating at a game that even children can play, then I think your morals are terribly skewed and something is wrong. And these issues have piled up on top of themselves. And then on top of that, the entire concussion thing and how the NFL lied about what they knew about concussions. All this stuff is piled up on Roger Goodell to the point where Roger Goodell is supposed to have died, and it didn't really hurt. Like, I heard that Muhammad Ali was sick last weekend. Not dead, just ill. And I started to be sad. I started to be very, very sad. With Roger Goodell, he has made himself a target for hatred in a way that possibly nobody else in sports is. There's no other commissioner of any other league draws nearly as much attention, draws nearly as much of the ire of the fans, quite like Roger Goodell. And it's pretty crazy. So that was my first thought. And then my second thought was, how do you take control of the NFL's Twitter account? Like, because Mark Zuckerberg got hacked also in this same span of time, in this week, right? In this news cycle, let's say. Mark Zuckerberg was also hacked. And I'm sure if you listen to the station, you know what his password was. It was DA, 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 da da, da. Which, I mean, you just have to know better than that if you're Mark Zuckerberg. Like, you just can't have that be your password. Da da da. And I wonder how easy it was to hack the NFL's Twitter account. Because I'm a person, I don't know how easy I am to personally hack, and that is not a challenge to anybody. That is not a challenge. I don't do that. I don't have anything to really hide, but also I have medium password security. That's it. My password's not da da da, I'll tell you that. But what is it that goes on with whoever it is running the NFL's Twitter account? What are they thinking when the account is hacked? Because it's not quite like your personal one. It's one, maybe multiple people have access to it. What on earth are they thinking when something like that happens? And then, of course, Roger Goodell, when people are telling you that you've died, what are you thinking then? He had a pretty cool response to that, which was, you spend one day out on a golf course, just one day, and everything goes to hell. You leave the office for one day, you come back, everybody thinks you're dead. But I want to know, though, how that feeling even is. was talking to Russell before the show, and Russell was telling me that would be an amazing feeling to have, an amazing job to do there, is to refute your own death in real time. In the world of social media, that would be an amazing thing to be able to pull off. I used to think it would be the coolest thing ever to go to your own funeral, possibly eavesdrop on your own funeral while people are trying to say things about you, and hopefully, what a great and nice and awesome person you were, and not the opposite of that, which is when you find out that people think that you're some kind of jerk. Then I don't know what to do there. But when it comes to things that you can do when people think that you're dead, defending your life, you are defending your life, aren't you? You are, just, or at least the presumption of your life against the presumption of your death. And I'm interested in what that would even feel like. I have a new number one thing that I want to do, the unachievable bucket list. You're listening to Hot 1240. That's gonna take some getting used to. You're listening to Hot 1240, your home for news and sports in the greater Chattanooga area. And I wanted to talk about also Stanford, University of Stanford swim team. There is a rape case going on, and people are trying to defend the young man accused of rape. And they are trying to defend the young man accused of rape because it's one of those situations where rape is such a terrible thing that it's one of those things that you can't imagine somebody doing it. When somebody does it, it's always somebody else. It's always a completely different person. It's never somebody you know. So the people who are writing letters to the judge in defense of this guy, I'm not going to come out and say, oh, these people are terrible people. How could you defend a rapist? Well, it's actually very easy to. All you have to do is defend a person that you know that you didn't think actually did it. And what ends up happening is that there's a certain level of ridiculousness that starts to appear, or at least the appearance of ridiculousness, when a person is accused of a crime. There's enough evidence to see that this person should be accused of that crime, but because their family and friends are blinded by the fact that this person would never do that, they end up twisting facts around to fit I don't even know what, because it's not a narrative of innocence. We know he's not innocent. And we even have a letter from the young man's dad that said something along the lines and to the effect of he shouldn't be going to prison. 20 years is an awful long time to have your life messed up for 20 minutes of action, which I can now take the time to say, if you are in a position, and in a position sexually for quote unquote 20 minutes of action or any minutes of action, if the person that you are going to have action with does not want it, that's rape, and that is not okay. And I shouldn't have to say this, but I will. It is not okay. There is nothing correct about any of that. So that young man's father is already in the wrong there. But also, jail is a place where your life gets messed up. That's, I mean, I don't want to say the point of jail, but that is what happens in jail. I don't know all these people that are going to jail and just having a grand old time. Like, outside of people who commit white collar crimes, where you just have, good food in jail. Kind of a little room situation. You play tennis in the yard. That's about as close as you get to a good situation in jail. And I assure you, if Bernie Madoff could trade his good situation in jail for actual freedom, he'd do it in a heartbeat, because it's still jail. Jail, by definition, is not good. It's a punishment. So if he did something wrong, what do you mean he doesn't deserve to go to jail? I mean, nobody deserves what jail is, but it's jail. It's a deterrent from crimes. It's a deterrent from doing the wrong thing. What do you mean he doesn't deserve jail? Of course he deserves jail. He allegedly raped somebody. There's very few people who don't deserve jail more than that. It's only you and like murderers next. What do you mean he doesn't deserve jail? That doesn't even make sense. And you can't pass up the 20 minutes of action thing. Like that's just disgusting. It is. If that person didn't want it, then you're wrong. That's wrong. You're wrong. It's all wrong. You can't do that. You just can't. I don't have to explain that beyond that very concept. You cannot do that. That is not acceptable in any circumstance ever. And so he's being defended by all of these people. They're sending in letters, and you just got to be careful with that stuff, man, because you think you know somebody and you really don't know. You have different levels of friendship with people. You've got different levels of friendship. I have some friends who are all of my friends are amazing. Let me start with that. I don't particularly like stupid people. I will not put up with that. If you are my friend, it's because I think you're smart. So either you actually are smart or you're doing a very good job of deceiving me. Either way, you're my friend. I don't do well with stupid people, but I also don't do well with people who are just outwardly awful, like just morally bankrupt. I don't vibe with those people very well. But you've got different levels of friends, right? You've got the friends that you really know. You're really good friends. You can call them up. You can do anything for them, and they will do anything for you. Those are your best friends, right? Then you've got the next level of friends where they will do a lot of things for you. They are pretty cool with you. They know you pretty well, but they don't really know you. And then you've got that third level of friends where essentially you don't really know them. You just kind of know them. You can't vouch for their character necessarily. And that's the level of friends where if everybody is trying to write letters for you and trying to make sure that you're not a rapist, and they're trying to write those letters for you, those are the friends who are going to try and actually defend you the hardest. Because like nobody wants to be associated with that ridiculously awful person. Why would you ever want that? Why on earth would you ever want that? You don't. But those are the people that are going to come to bat for you the most. And he's got letters and letters pouring in, defending him and defending his personality and defending who he is as a person. Like, yeah, no, he would never do that. Yeah, well, you don't know. And it's kind of a word of warning to you because most of your friends, as are most of mine, are in that third level of friends. Those are the friends that are easiest to collect. Those are the stories that are easiest to collect. And apparently, I'm looking at Twitter. I have not died. If you're listening to this, if you go to our Twitter account at Hot News Radio, that's us on Twitter at Hot News Radio. It says that I have died. I have not died. So now I'm doing the whole bucket list thing there. I'm defending myself from death. I'm not dead. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We'll get to that breakdown of Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I'll talk about how I was wrong and also how I'm not dead. Clutch with Keon Rose, next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240. You and I know that real men are prepared for anything. You know what I'm talking about because you're a Take Charge guy. Everyone's talking about Grimm's Tactical, featuring first responder gear, survival gear and equipment, Voodoo Tactical, Leapers. For personal protection, Grimm's Tactical features non-lethal personal protection gear, AR/AK parts, knives, canning and dehydrating equipment. If you hike and camp, Grimm's Tactical has got what you're looking for, bags and packs. And for your side piece, concealed carry holsters for men and women. Plus, Grimm's Tactical carries a wide variety of freeze-dried food. Wise Mountain House, Backpacker's Pantry, Grimm's Tactical, where law enforcement shops, Safari Lane, Blackhawk, 511. First responder gear at Grimm's Tactical. Grimm's Tactical, 8115 East Brainerd Road, in the shopping center next to the Walmart Marketplace. Look for the Mighty Mini U-Haul office. Grimm's Tactical is right next door. Grimm's Tactical, 8115 East Brainerd Road. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
Expect clear skies to continue through the nighttime. Comfortable again overnight, lows near 60. For Friday, though, lots of sunshine will start to heat us up high, soaring into the lower 90s. And the weekend looking hot, hazy, and humid. Still dry for a while with highs each day into the mid-90s. Check out TGI Fridays. Pick a meal and a drink for just $12. Dine only at Fridays. Offer valid at participating locations for a limited time. Valid while supplies last. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240. AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. 2 women in Chattanooga got into a fight and one smashed a bottle across the other's face. She also punched her multiple times, leaving a massive bruise on her face and a knot on her head. 38-year-old Lakita Dates said they got into a verbal argument. LaWanda Bush smashed a bottle across her face. She was arrested and charged with aggravated assault after police said she hit another woman in the head with a beer bottle last week. 4 people with guns arrested after a car chase. Police got into a car chase with a white Dodge Charger, which careened off the road, losing control, crashing into an embankment. A foot chase then ensued, and 4 men were arrested. Police say they found guns inside of a car and cocaine in possession of one of the men arrested. 2 juveniles were also inside the car. A decision is made after an atheist group has sued the Bradley County Sheriff Eric Watson after religious remarks were made on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page. A judge ruled in Watson's favor on Wednesday, saying that he can continue posting so long as it's on his personal page. It was going on in the Tennessee Valley. It's going on Hot News Talk Radio. Hot News Talk 1240.
You're listening to AM 1240, Clutch with Keon Rose. I am not dead, nor have I ever been dead. Though there is a point in our world's history where I did not exist. So I don't know if you want to count those two things as the same thing. Now, I am like, I'm looking over at the Twitter account where Confederate Mike runs our Twitter account, one of our Twitter accounts. And it's reporting me as dead. I am in fact not dead. However, I'm getting a little worried because I'm like, man, that could be a weird thing to Google and find out about yourself. Like, what if that could cause me trouble? Like, what if I try and take out a loan or something in the future and then I can't because my background check said that I'm dead? That would that not be a little trouble? So we were talking earlier about this Stanford rape case. The young man in question accused of rape is Brock Turner, and he was found guilty for 3 felonies, but got a reduced sentence because the judge feared the severe impact of a long-term prison sentence, which is another weird thing about this story that I do not like, that the judge feared the effects of a long-term prison sentence. Since when has any judge worried about the effects of a long-term prison sentence on somebody actually found guilty of a crime? When has that ever happened? When has that been a thing? In America, a country with 5% of the population of Earth, we have 5% of the population of this planet. We have 25% of its prisoners. And all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, we're worried about the long-term effects of prison sentences on people. This is new to me because I still worry about going to jail and never leaving jail. You go to jail, you come out of jail, you don't really have a job because you can't get hired for one. You don't really have any prospects. There's no loans you can really take out. There's no place you can really live. And then if you wind up turning back to crime to try and make some of those ends meet, you find yourself right back in jail. I mean, none of that sounds fair to me. But what sounds even less fair is that while that is happening to people all the time, and very specifically to people of color very regularly, that a judge has decided all of a sudden that today's the day that we're going to worry about the effects of a long-term prison sentence on Brock Turner, who was found guilty of 3 felonies, one of which is rape. I don't, especially if you're a racist, like a rapist, though I'm not fond of racists either, especially if you're a rapist. If you are a rapist, yeah, I'm not worried about the long-term effects of prison on you. The long-term effects of prison on you are supposed to be dreadful. You have raped somebody, and we're never going to be able to undo the pain that you caused them. That is what the point of jail is. Why are we suddenly feeling bad for this guy? Really? I mean, that, yeah, just makes me feel gross, man. And then he wrote a letter, which is an apology, sort of. It's a non-apology. It's a kind of apology. Which that's a whole thing. There are ways that you apologize, and then there's actual apologies. This is what he said. Here's some relevant parts of what he said. At this point in my life, I never want to have a drop of alcohol again. I never want to attend a social gathering that involves alcohol or any situation where people make decisions based on the substances they have consumed. I never want to experience being in a position where it will have a negative effect on my life or someone else's ever again. And somehow, you're trying to sidestep taking responsibility for your actions because you were drunk. That is not okay. Still not okay, and you're still wrong. Because you have to choose to do the right thing. You have to do it before you're drunk. You have to know that that's not okay. Okay? Because people get drunk all the time and manage not to rape folks. So that's really not a good excuse. I advise not getting drunk in the first place. You know, but what do I know? I've never done that, so I have no clue. I'm just saying I strongly advise not doing it in the first place. But since some people are about to turn up and they show up to be about that particular life, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you. Unless you rape somebody, then all of the judgment should fall on you. If that is your behavior and your behavior style and your behavior pattern around alcohol, then you shouldn't be consuming any. Not you. It's ridiculous. You're listening to AM 1240 on News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. So I want to talk about Game 3 of the NBA Finals because I thought that the Warriors were going to beat the Cavaliers in this series initially in 5 games. After seeing games 1 and 2 and also seeing that there has not been one good Steph and one good Clay game, and the Warriors didn't just beat the Cavaliers in the games that they won. They trounced them, and they trounced them not entirely using the three-point line. I mean, there was a lot of inside scoring there. I mean, the Warriors were playing, especially with Sean Livingston at the point guard position, a more traditional-looking game of basketball. And that is interesting to note because the knock on the Warriors is that they shoot a ton of threes, and that's how they end up with these gigantic lopsided scores. And last night, you still didn't get a good Clay and Steph game because Steph was being clearly bothered by what Cleveland did to him defensively. Being able to switch. They're basically doing what the Warriors did to Oklahoma City. Just switching on everybody. And Oklahoma City did it to the Warriors too. Just switch. You don't go under screens because you can't allow a team that shoots very well to go under screens. You have to switch on to everybody, which in this case, you think that would create some mismatches that the Warriors could take advantage of. Like Steph Curry on Tristan Thompson ought to be a layup every single time. A layup or a jumper. Straight to the basket. Tristan Thompson did a good job of staying at home and bothering him with that length. And the length that the Thunder used, the Cavs started to use a little bit too because they had Richard Jefferson, who is a more capable defender, who started yesterday because Kevin Love had the concussion still, and it bothered them, and that changed the face of the game. If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't know if rolling without Love next game is something that you should do, but it's something you should think about. It's something you should really think about because Kevin Love is still a horrible defender, and Richard Jefferson gave you length that, you know, you still have the size now, but you've got a guy that's, ironically, because Richard Jefferson is now, 15, 16 years in the league. He's old. Ironically, faster. Richard Jefferson's a little bit faster than Kevin Love. And certainly a much better defender. And that's one of the factors as to why that game got so out of hand, is that they still are bothering Clay and Steph, running them off of the three-point shot, making them shoot a little bit quick, a little bit faster than they want to. And Steph never really got going. I mean, he never really got going. Though I will take this time to poke the bear that is one Stephen A. Smith because he says ridiculous things on a regular basis.
I'm not having it.
Yes, you are. He continues to be ridiculous. Stephen A. Smith is possibly one of the most ridiculous people on earth. And the question that he lobbed out today on his Twitter account was great. It was, if LeBron James had scored just 2 points after winning the MVP in the finals, what would we be saying about him? I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. Nothing. What did the defense do to him? Because the Cavs took Steph Curry out of that game. I'm not giving Steph a pass just because he's Steph. Steph still deserves to win the MVP award. It's a regular season award. He doesn't deserve to win finals MVP. I'll give you that. He doesn't deserve to win finals MVP, and he's probably not going to unless he just goes bonkers over the next few games. He's probably not going to win finals MVP. And it's okay, but they make a separate award for that for a reason. Steph Curry was the most valuable player in the NBA this regular season. The Warriors don't get anywhere near 73-9 without him. They don't come back from down 3-1 to the Thunder without him. They don't. They need him. And last night, we saw again why he's the MVP. He only scored 2 points. You can use that as look, I'm going to use that argument against you. Should the MVP of the league only score 2 points? You could argue no. But the fact that he only scored 2 points shows you his value. This team is not a team that can just win a bunch of games without Steph. They won game 1 and 2 without Steph, but that is in large part because Cleveland played horribly. Kyrie Irving is just a guy that if he's not shooting well on a night, he's just not shooting well on a night. And he shot great last night, and that's why the Cavs won. A huge part of why they won was Kyrie Irving was taking some bad shots. Early shot clock shots where he would just pull up for 3 and just yank it, and he would make the shot. But I don't like to confuse made shots with good shots. Kyrie Irving did not take good shots last night. He made bad ones. And to that, also, I will pile on top of that, J.R. Smith was shooting the ball very well last night. J.R. Smith wasn't taking good shots either. He didn't make good shots. He made bad shots. Horrible, horrible shots. Guy in your face, draped all over you, long 2, knocks it down. When J.R. Smith is on fire, he's on fire. There's nothing that you can do to stop that. He's possibly one of the most unstoppable people in sports when he's going. His problem is J.R. Smith is a walking feast or famine situation. You either have incredible production from him or you get nothing. And in game 1 and in game 2, we got nothing. But in game 3, we got that feast, JR. And he was going crazy. He was just pulling up and shooting threes in your face. And you can't stop it. You just can't. And when he's making that shot, it's just not a containable thing. He's just so inconsistent about how often that happens that it's not something that if you're Cleveland, you can rely on. But it certainly helps. And then you add on top of that, again, Steph Curry, more foul trouble. I just really like what Cleveland did in this game, and they didn't do it on purpose. The Richard Jefferson situation, where Richard Jefferson certainly helped the team, they didn't do that on purpose. And they didn't win by 30 because Richard Jefferson didn't play. Or Richard Jefferson did play, and Kevin Love didn't play. They didn't win by 30 because of Richard Jefferson. But part of that fast start that they got out to initially was in large part because they slowed the Warriors up early, and then Richard Jefferson can make open shots if you leave him open to make open shots. LeBron James certainly came out way more aggressively, as he had to. He had that amazing dunk from Kyrie, that lob from Kyrie, which was a terrible alley-oop. It was just awful. He threw it behind him and too high and away, and LeBron, because he's an amazing athlete and because there is nobody on earth quite like that guy, made that dunk possible. And the photographs that are circulating about that dunk, there's one photograph of that dunk where LeBron, it looks like a Renaissance painting. The way that the lighting is in the arena, it looks like a Renaissance painting. It's pretty unreal. The great athleticism from LeBron James, he fell down on the play, he got back up, and then when he got up, Kyrie threw him that awful lob that he turned into an amazing dunk. And that's actually a formula out there, and I don't know who's going to make the exact specifics of that, but someone should create that as a math equation, because the worse the alley-oop is, the cooler the dunk looks when you make it. And that one looked amazing. Also, might I remind you, LeBron James is 31 years old. There aren't very many 31-year-olds doing anything near what LeBron James does, much less what he did last night. He played incredibly well, and he helped sustain the team in the second half because there were just a few runs that the Warriors made where you're just like, okay, here it comes. Here come the Warriors. They cut the lead all the way down to 12 or 10 points or whatever it was in the middle of the second half, and you're like, Cleveland's about to lose control of this one. But LeBron James stepped up every single time, answered the Warriors' punches, took their best shot, and then delivered another one. And the Warriors were never able to get back within double digits in that game. You credit LeBron James with part of that. Now, a little bit too is LeBron James is realizing like when he can rely on his shot and when he can't rely on his shot. Like LeBron James is going to pull up and just take shots when you've got a giant lead. You got a big lead. LeBron James does not mind shooting a deep three when you've got a huge lead. I noticed that. He's not taking great shots when the game is close. But when the game is a little bit more out of reach and closer to being in hand, LeBron James allows himself to loosen up a little bit and make some ridiculous shots and make some ridiculous plays. And it's pretty insane to see that go. But no, I'm not backing off of my Warriors pick. I will have to upgrade back to 5 after having downgraded to a sweep. I thought after the first 2 games, there is no way Cleveland puts together enough of anything to win in this series. And I certainly thought that last game, I thought we were going to get our good Steph Clay game. But I'm not backing off of Warriors in 5 merely because I'm looking at the matchups, okay? And it's just the most scientific way of going about this. And game 4 of this series is on Friday night. And I'm looking at the matchups and I'm going, I don't like them. I do not like these matchups. I still don't like it for Cleveland. You have a good night shooting the ball with your inconsistent shooting team. Kyrie Irving, streaky. J.R. Smith, streakier. I don't like the consistency that this team offers to say, yeah, no, Cleveland is going to make a series out of this. We don't have a series just yet. I saw reports on that today, columns on that. Oh, yeah, now we've got ourselves a series. No, we don't. Look at the Warriors this entire postseason. When the Warriors beat you, they blow you out of the gym. When they lose, they get blown out of the gym. They are the ones that don't look like they belong on an NBA floor. The Warriors don't just lose, they lose big, and they don't just win, they win big. And there is not a ton of middle ground for them on that this postseason. They're not winning games by like 5 or 6. They're winning a lot of games by 20 or more. They're losing a lot of games by 20 or more. And last night, Cleveland got very hot. They had a very good game plan coupled with that. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked. But they got very hot. These matchup problems that they have still have not changed. Okay. There are some things that you can do if you're Golden State to adjust. And I'm interested in seeing what it is that Steve Kerr is going to do. I thought that Steve Kerr tried to go big when his small ball lineup was just getting destroyed by Cleveland's own version of the small ball lineup. Cleveland had LeBron James at the 4 with Richard Jefferson starting at the 3 and then Tristan Thompson playing center. That lineup, I like that lineup for them because it's still a pretty physical lineup and it's faster than Golden State's big lineup. And Golden State, I thought they stuck with that big lineup a hair too long. They were kind of whittling down on the lead, and they had Anderson Varejao in the game, and Anderson Varejao was in the game forever. It felt like he was in the game for that whole third quarter. I mean, I know he wasn't, but it felt like it. It felt like he was in that game and slowing them down because Anderson Varejao is not fast, and he's not a great rim protector. And for his size, he's not a great defender. nor is he a great scorer. I just didn't know why he was out in that game that long. And I don't know if the Warriors are going to adjust to that and decide, you know what, even when they run their small lineup, we're just going to run ours. Because your small lineup has something that theirs doesn't have, which is that the guy that plays center for you, Draymond Green, he shoots threes. He spreads the floor out in a way that Tristan Thompson cannot. I saw Cleveland playing on offense, this kind of weird 5-out situation that they ran in Miami when LeBron James was down there. They had everybody outside the three-point line, including Tristan Thompson. And I was like, how did they plan on rebounding? But it gave them a lot of space. But it's a fake space because if you have to pass to Tristan Thompson, there's nothing he can do with the ball that far from the rim. Not at all. And I'm interested in seeing how Golden State's going to counter that because I didn't think that staying big was the right situation for them. They stayed big maybe a touch too long. Now, part of it was the thigh bruise that Klay Thompson has, and part of it was the foul trouble that Steph got himself into. But just having Anderson Varejao play that many minutes, I mean, I prefer Bogut at that point. And I know you got to give Bogut the breather if you're just going to run the 7-footers out there. But I did not understand that particular lineup. I think if you weren't going to go with Draymond, I'd prefer Festus Ezeli. Even he's not big. You know, he's certainly not bigger than Varejao, but like going big in that particular situation when your team is failing to run and score points and your best players are people who need space. Going big didn't seem to make sense there to me. And I still worry about that aspect of it with Golden State, but overall, I think the matchup still favors them. And also, again, Golden State missed a ton of great Golden State shots. The shots that they usually knock down. And I haven't seen that from them. I haven't seen them make the shots that they usually make. I haven't seen Steph do it specifically, but I haven't seen this whole team do it, and they haven't done it this series yet. And that, to me, is the most interesting part, which is that this is Cleveland's best punch. The Warriors embarrassed Cleveland twice, and they haven't delivered their best punch yet. Not even close. And if this is what Cleveland has got, Cleveland has got to prove that they can do this for 3 more games. And I don't think that they have 3 more games of this. I just don't. It's too much relying on Kyrie and JR. They are streaky shooters. You cannot rely on these guys that much. They don't have, their game is not built that way. Kyrie Irving, Uncle Drew, he does great getting to the basket, but if he's got to shoot, that's around 30% for him. Those are Westbrook numbers. We say Westbrook is bad about it. And J.R. Smith is even streakier. Thank you for listening to Clutch with Keon Rose, for joining me, giving me just a small slice of your day. You know that I appreciate you. See you all tomorrow, but actually, stick around.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
You feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses.